let's get started. If you would stand with me, I guess I'll lead us in the pledge. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Jacob, will you pray for us, please?
Sure. Your gracious and heavenly Father, Lord, thank you once again for bringing us here safely and bringing this club together. Lord, please help us to go out and to help mold our communities in a positive manner. Lord, thank you for this food, and bless this food for the nourishment of our bodies and our bodies to your service. It's in Christ's name I pray. Amen.
Amen. Amen.
I don't see Nelson, so Barrett, you want to pick a song?
First verse of Rotary. R-O-T-A-R-Y, that spells Rotary. R-O-T-A-R-Y is known on land and sea. From north to south, from east to west, he profits most who serves the best. R-O-T-A-R-Y, that spells Rotary.
Okay, just a couple of quick announcements. Actually, I don't have any. I don't have any birthdays or anniversaries this week unless somebody wants to make a confession. All right, Johnny, are you ready?
Am I not ever ready? Audrey, come with me. I found my sheet, and as I looked at it, I could tell I had never picked on Audrey. Now, would you like to do a professional report, or do you want to tell us about your Rotary business?
I'll tell you about my Rotary business.
All right, step to the mic.
Okay, it's Donna Cole, and she has Logan and Emily, her two children. But when we did that, their ages are probably different now. Okay, so how old are they now?
Emily just turned 10 last week and Logan will be 14 in June.
Okay. And her favorite meal is her mother's poppy seed chicken. And she drinks Coke Zero, is her favorite drink. But the most interesting thing about her is that her one true ambition was to be a professional singer. So I think she ought to have to sing. It's all chicken off.
You put that on there?
I was blasting Rotary a while ago.
She was. Well, when Nelson's not
Steve
here,
didn't cry.
we know who to call on.
Now you know.
Now I know.
I wouldn't take that from Nelson for the world.
Good information.
Just when he's not.
Yeah, but he's not always
No,
here.
he kind of misses every now and then.
Well,
Let's
okay.
give Audrey a big hand. We're more on the left than we are on the right today.
That happens.
Well, but we're older over there, except for Audrey and a couple of guys here. So it's harder for us to get here. And Rose is still trying to get back from Disney World, so.
Yeah.
How many of you have been to a pet store?
Today?
Today? No, not today. So there was a fellow walked into a pet store and was wanting to find him a new pet. And there was this beautiful red and gold and white parrot sitting on a perch. And on one of his legs was tied a red ribbon. And on the other leg was tied a blue ribbon. And he asked the owner, he said, "That is a beautiful parrot. Is he for sale?" "Yes, he is." "Well, I'm kind of interested in him, but tell me what's the deal with the ribbons." He said, "Well, look, this is a special parrot. You pull the red ribbon, he's fluent in Spanish. He'll talk to you in Spanish. And he said, you pull the blue ribbon, and he's fluent in French. He'll talk to you in French." He walked up to the old parrot and he looked at him and he said, "What happens if I pull both ribbons?" He said, "I'm fluent in English. I'll fall off the stand, you fool." Make that a double when you send that out there.
Okay. On the Secretary's report, we have 20 Rotarians here today. And we have a couple of high school students in the back. Would you stand and introduce yourselves, please?
I'm Deja
Childress, Batesville High School Student Council representative.
I'm on it in, also from Batesville High School.
Welcome, we're glad you're here. And in the back, we have Joseph back from the Guard. Again, thank you for coming. And we also have Jared Cook and Shane Newberry back with us again, who are both getting ready to propose a membership. So make sure you meet them, and we'll get their applications into the board at the meeting that should be 2 weeks from today. So make sure you try to get to know them a little bit. Let's see. Brenda, do we have anything from service today?
I do, yes. In regard to service, Rala camp is coming up April the 6th or the 9th in Ferndale. We're sending 6 students. I have already gone around and gotten agreement from different people to deliver them and pick them up. I just have, I'm looking for one more volunteer to transport 4 students from Southside High School down to the Ferncliff camp April the 6th, Thursday. They have to be, registration is between 4 and 6. If anybody's available, please let me know. We pick them up at the high school from the counselors. And then you just take them down there and then you're free. Have a night in Little Rock. That is Thursday, April the 6th, 4 to 6. That's it.
So if you can do that, please see Brenda. July, anything from Treasury?
No, just believe it or not, I think it's Friday is the last day of the quarter, so you know what that means.
You said it's a gift.
Getting an invoice again next week or week after.
Okay, great. So we'll look forward to that. Okay, door greeter today should have been Allie, but I don't see that she's here with us. And haven't seen Allie in a while. If you're her RFF, you might need to check on her. Make sure everything's going all right there. Next week is Audrey Poole. So Audrey, you'll be on deck next week. Okay.
2 weeks in a row,
Just a couple of quick announcements. We're winding up. All the money is coming in from the trap shoot, and all of our bills have been paid. I think we have a couple of checks that haven't come in yet, but once everything is said and done, it looks like we made about $4,800. So that's what the expenses are. Very well pleased, and I really appreciate all of your hard work and efforts that went into that.
Amanda, the Guard did an excellent job of giving us publicity on that.
They did. They have given us a lot of publicity here lately, and we really appreciate that. On April 23rd, which is a Saturday morning at ASU in Searcy, the district's going to have club leadership training. Erin and I are planning on going. If there's anybody else that would like to go, please let me know and we'll get you signed up. They will provide lunch. It's geared towards presidents and secretaries, membership chairs, anything like that, or anybody that just wants to learn more about Rotary, especially on the officer level. So it doesn't, you don't have to be an officer on the board to go. So if you're interested, just let me know. Barrett picked up the baseball raffle tickets while he was at Pets. That is a district fundraiser that we help with every year. They ask that each Rotarian please try to sell 2 tickets if at all possible. We get to keep half of the money. So out of all the tickets that we sell, it should be a quick, easy fundraiser for us. If you can just sell your 2 tickets, we'll get to keep half that money. All right. Today we have a special guest with us. We have Larry and Brenda Nelson. They are members of the Rotary Club at Mountain Home and have served as the District 6110 membership co-chairs for the past 3 years. Wow, that's a job.
That is a job.
For 80 clubs, it's a lot.
That is, I was going to say, that's a big job. Larry retired from First Security Bank of Mountain Home in June 2009 after a 37-year career at the same bank, serving as President and Chief Executive Officer for the final 25 years. He has been a member of the Rotary Club of Mountain Home for 45 years, serving as President in 1978. He served 3 years as Assistant Governor and is a graduate of the inaugural class of the 6110 District Leadership Academy, where he is currently an instructor. Larry also serves on the District Matching Grants Committee. He married Brenda Nelson almost 48 years ago, and together they have 2 married children and 5 grandchildren. Brenda is retired from the KTLO radio after 34 years on the air as a talk show host and newswoman. She joined Rotary in 2009 and has served as head of Rotary Public Relations Committee for the past 6 years. She is also an administrator and photographer for the District 6110 Facebook page. They have hosted Rotary new member orientations in their home for more than 25 years. Together, they have made 3 trips with the Rotarians to deliver wheelchairs to crippled adults and children, accompanied by 3 of their grandchildren. Larry and Brenda are both Paul Harris Fellows, as well as their children's spouses, all 5 grandchildren, their parents, and their siblings. Wow, that's an honor. They are level 3 major donors of the Rotary Foundation. So let's give Larry and Brenda Nelson a big hand today, guys.
Thank you, Amanda. Our program today is going to be more important than you see these pictures that are on the screen, more than seeing us. So if you can't see the screen well where you are, please take this opportunity to move so that you can. Now I can move. When we bought our first motorcycle in 2011, the previous owner told us about a group that stood flag lines at funeral services with veterans. I looked up their website and I found this information, and this is a quote. The Patriot Guard Riders, or PGR, is a 100% volunteer organization. Our main mission is to attend the funeral services of our country's fallen heroes, fallen military, law enforcement officers, and emergency personnel, to show respect for them and their service, and to protect the family from any unwanted interruptions. We participate only at the invitation of the family. The group was formed in 2005, and although initially founded by motorcyclists, the organization is open to anyone. But we have one thing in common. We have an unwavering respect for those who risked their very lives for Americans' freedom and security. This is a quote from the website still. We don't care what you ride or if you ride, what your political views are, whether you're a hawk or a dove. It's not a requirement that you be a veteran. The only requirement and prerequisite is respect. There are no membership fees and no minimum number of missions to ride each year to remain active. We receive email notifications of upcoming missions in our area, and we each pay our own way on missions and attend whenever we can.
If you saw the movie American Sniper, you may have stayed until the very end when they showed the real funeral procession for U.S. Navy SEAL Chris Kyle. The final video showed thousands of PGR motorcycles who escorted this American hero over 200 miles through a pouring rain from Dallas to the Texas State Cemetery in Austin. That's what the PGR does. And since Larry is a Vietnam veteran, we knew that this was something we absolutely wanted to do. And I might tell you that from this point on, all of the remaining photographs that you will see were taken by either Larry or myself during the actual missions. Our first ride was in August of 2012, and it was for an 89-year-old U.S. Marine veteran of World War II and a local fire chief in Gainesville, Missouri. Riders from Arkansas met with the Missouri riders at the staging area outside the funeral home. The first part of the mission was standing a flag line before the funeral. The second part was to provide an escort to the cemetery with local fire trucks and emergency personnel following behind us. At the cemetery, Marines provided military honors, including a 3-volley salute, and presented a folded American flag to the family. As we stood on a tree-shaded hillside in a small country cemetery with cattle and horses grazing in the field below us, and they started to play taps over our right shoulder, this being our very first mission, I was absolutely in tears. And then
since he was a retired fire chief, he had fire personnel that also accompanied us out to the cemetery. And some of those people joined us in the semicircle flag line around the gravesite. And near the end of the service, I heard one of the firefighters give the command to the other firefighters, say, "Firefighters, pagers on." And I thought, well, the service is not over yet. We're close to the end, but we're not done. And I heard the squawk come over the pager. Box 28 respond. And I thought, how inappropriate. Box 28 respond. And just about as I was going to go over to tell them that they needed to turn those things off, I heard, Box 28, final call. We'll miss you, Mr. Fox. And I remember that the veteran that we put in the ground that day was Albert Fox.
In October of 2012, our second mission honored the accidental death of PFC Lawrence Young. He was only 22 years old when he died at Fort Hood, and his father, who is a PGR member, led the motorcycle escort for his own son to the Missouri Veterans Cemetery outside of Springfield, where full military honors awaited Private Young. In November of 2012, we were asked to attend the services for Kenneth McCutcheon, a member of the U.S. Navy Reserve. We stood his flag line beside fellow Rotarians, James and Terry Coates, both Patriot Guard riders from the Rotary Club of Harrison, Arkansas. Then in April of 2013, we headed back down the mountain to Central Arkansas to join their Patriot Guard unit for this mission.
The Patriot Guard was asked to honor the last skipper of the submarine USS Razorback, which is permanently moored on the Arkansas River in North Little Rock. We were there to attend a burial at sea with full military honors for Captain Truett Talbot Jr. In the Navy, the ship's captain is referred to by the name of the vessel he commanded, in this case, Razorback. When the ship's captain boards or departs the ship, sailors standing watch make an announcement to the crew and ring the bell. So, as Captain Talbot's ashes were placed in the Arkansas River by his surviving family, the boat's bell was rung, and it was announced, Razorback departed.
We always hold the staging area somewhere that is large enough to accommodate all the bikes that are there for the mission, and someplace that's close to where the mission site is. And this is the time that I like to go around and photograph some of the absolutely amazing artwork on the motorcycles, plus some of the patches, hats, and members' special insignias. On Memorial Day of 2013, Patriot Guard riders across the state were invited to participate in the ceremonies held at the Arkansas Veterans Cemetery in Sherwood. Then Governor Mike Beebe and dignitaries from all branches of the service laid the wreath and honored those that are buried there. The three-volley salute and the playing of taps are always the most emotional moments in any mission. The symbolic empty table is set for prisoners of war and missing in action. The place settings represent all four branches of the service and are a reminder to all of us that they are not forgotten and that we continue to hope for their return, although that often feels impossible after many years. But you know, in an unbelievable mission, we joined with the Oklahoma and Missouri Patriot Guard riders to help escort the remains of U.S. Army Corporal Eldon Irvin, who had been killed in North Korea in 1950, 65 years before the day we stood his flag line. This old gentleman, Brigadier General Simmons, had served with Irvin in Korea and had actually seen him die in the freezing weather of December at the Battle of Chosin Reservoir. Years later, General Simmons wrote a book called The Frozen Chosin. And with information from that book, U.S. officials were finally able to recover his remains and return Irvin to his 5 living siblings. We stood his flag line in Miami, Oklahoma, and then we took him to the cemetery in Neosho, Missouri. His sister told us at the gravesite that she had waited 65 years to put flowers on his grave on Memorial Day. And I thought as we stood there in that cemetery, thank you, Lord, tonight they finally know where he is.
In 2013, our mission was riding for Marine Corporal Benjamin Tuttle, a 19-year-old KIA killed in action in Operation Enduring Freedom. This was a two-part mission. The first part was to meet the hero at the airport. As his body arrived at XNA and was transferred to the hearse, the Patriot Guard riders were called to attention and given the present arms command. They responded with a 3-second salute, a slow display of respect, with veterans performing a hand salute and non-veterans placing their hand over their heart. Then we escorted him to the Benton County Funeral Home where his family was waiting for him. 2 days later, we stood a flag line outside the church with hundreds more joining us in the streets of his hometown of Gentry, Arkansas. Then we mounted up and escorted him to his gravesite about 13 miles away. There were 3,000 American flags at 6-foot intervals on each side of the road from the church out the highway as far as they would go. All along the route, people stopped by the road signs to show their respect as we took him to his final resting place. At the cemetery, we picked up our flags again and proceeded to the gravesite to stand in the flag line. Near the end of the services, a U.S. Marine approached the hero, rendered a slow hand salute, did an about face, and slowly walked away.
On June the 14th in 2014, we met up again with the North Central Arkansas Patriot Guard riders from Missouri, and again we were back in Gainesville. We had been asked to stand a flag line for 30-year-old Gilbert Quintanilla, a U.S. Army veteran of 2 tours in Afghanistan, and yet he had died after he was released of a congenital disease after returning home. We escorted him to his family cemetery outside of town. A month later, we were back in Little Rock to honor 22-year-old Army Sergeant Jamar Hicks, KIA, Afghanistan. While we were waiting in the staging area, 2 Hot Springs Rotarians saw the Rotary emblem on our bike's windshield and came over for a visit. These are our ride captains discussing the details of the mission with the Army's official unit in charge of the funeral. That happens at all the funerals that we attend. And then when the church services concluded, we mounted up and escorted Sergeant Hicks to the Arkansas Veterans Cemetery with his young wife, baby son, and family following behind us. As we passed the honor guard, we noticed an old soldier who had been seated on this walker, now standing and raising his hand in salute as we brought the hero home. In the summer of 2014, we rode 3 missions with Arkansas Ride Captain David Cohn. The first was for 95-year-old Wendell Altag. He was a U.S. Navy survivor of the Pearl Harbor attack, and he was one of the very first U.S. Seabees. We escorted his body to a small family cemetery, and with only a few family there and no friends who were young enough to perform the service for him, Patriot Guard riders were recruited and honored to serve as Mr. Altag's pallbearers. Several months later, we met Central Arkansas riders for a flag line in Conway to honor 89-year-old PFC Julian White, who served with the U.S. Marines in the famous battles of Guadalcanal, Samoa, Guam, and Okinawa, for which he was awarded the Presidential Citation for heroic performance of duties in spite of his own serious injuries. As you can tell, most of the missions that the Patriot Guard ride will be for veterans or fallen heroes. But we also stand flag lines and ride escort for law enforcement and emergency personnel. Recently, we rode down to Fort Smith, Arkansas for the services of a former Marine and then Sebastian County police officer Bill Cooper, who had been killed in the line of duty 2 months before his retirement. The canine cop that was with him had been shot twice, but he survived the incident. We stood a flag line around the gravesite of this Vietnam veteran, joined by hundreds of law enforcement and military personnel from all over the United States. And when the local firefighters' fife and drum corps began to play Amazing Grace, there was not a dry eye.
When we got the notice about this mission, we knew we had to do it even if it was going to be a long, hot ride in August in Arkansas. Staff Sergeant Jonathan Turner, a 17-year Marine Corps veteran who had served 7 deployments in Iraq and Afghanistan, had died in California. The Patriot Guard mission statement read, quote, Staff Sergeant Turner's family is not local to California, so his Marine family has made all the arrangements. Sergeant Turner's blood family will not be present for his service. The funeral home was instructed to send his urn to his mother in Georgia. Continuing the quote, we do not want this hero to be shipped back in a FedEx box, so we're in the process of putting together a cross-country relay of Patriot Guard members to take his ashes and his flag home to his mother. So the Northwest Arkansas unit met the Oklahoma PGR at the Arkansas border, and during a solemn transfer ceremony, transferred Sergeant Turner's ashes and flag to our unit. And we also received a plaque and a PGR Bible for his mother, being signed here by Ride Captain David Dirtywater Cone. From there, our riders took him halfway to Memphis to meet the relay team from Central Arkansas. In another solemn transfer, our ride captain, Norm Breath, charged the new ride captain, Jerry Ashby, to faithfully discharge his duties to complete the Arkansas mission to Tennessee. So after several days of nonstop escort across 9 states, with hundreds of volunteer riders covering 2,150 miles, this went down as the longest Patriot Guard mission on record and became known as the Pony Express Ride.
Of all the 24 missions that we have now ridden, the next one was the most special for me, probably because Larry had served in Vietnam as an advisor to the Vietnamese Navy during the war. And I was so grateful that he got to come home when many of them didn't. This was the repatriation service for U.S. Army Major Dale W. Richardson, who was 28 years old when he died in Vietnam. He was killed in action during a firefight on May the 2nd, 1970, but his remains had only recently been recovered. And finally, this decorated combat hero was returning home after 45 years. We met him and his family at the Clinton National Airport in Little Rock and escorted them 130 miles non-stop to his hometown of Mountain View, Arkansas. During the final 70 miles of the ride, we were completely overwhelmed by all the citizens and school groups that came out to show their respect. We invite you now to ride along with us as we take this fallen hero home. this Patriot Guard patch reads, "Almighty God, thank you for sending me on this mission. Please, Lord, give me the strength to stand for this fallen hero and accept this brave person in peace on the journey to your kingdom."
During the last 4 years, it's been our how to ride with the Patriot Guard riders and stand for those who stood for us. Thank you very much.
Wow, that was a great presentation. Thank you for all that you do. That's wonderful. Our club's going to donate a book to the Independence County Library on behalf of you coming to speak today.
We love that.
And this is called Ultimate Kids Weird But True.
That's perfect for us.
Inside it will say this book is donated on behalf of Larry and Brenda Nelson for speaking to the Rotary Club of Batesville on March 27th, 2017.
Thank you.
So
We're honored by that.
library
Thank
for
you.
Okay. Dwight, do you want to do a little recall?
Okay. Today half of what we collected was $16.50, so I don't know what we're gonna do about the 50 cents.
We'll just round it up to their benefit.
Okay. You don't mind that? I'll take it out there.
Do I get to split it if I draw out a winning number?
Only if it's Ron Carter.
Okay, 865,969.
Oh, you smart.
It's the one that,
Yeah.
it's the one that Brenda
It
traded
was
with
mine
me.
originally. See, that's why you gotta trade with me periodically.
Hey, it's not much, but I'll donate my part to these folks and buy some gas in their.
There you go.
Okay, does anybody else have anything for the good of Rotary? No? All right, if not, we'll end as we always do with the four-way test of the things we think, say, or do. Number 1.
Is it truth?
Number 2.
Is it fair to all concerned?
Number 3.
Will it build goodwill and better friendships?
And number 4.
Will it be beneficial to all concerned?
You're adjourned. Have a good week.
Amen.